Hey guys, it's Bethany with the Gypsy Bird Mix podcast, and this is episode 19. So we are a day late. I apologize for that. This week Bryan was off the last 2 or 3 nights, and it's just easier to podcast after he goes to work, and then I can edit it all at once and do all that. So that is why it is one day late. Thank you for being patient. Hopefully it will be worth the while. I do have 2 finished objects and 2 works in progress to share with you today. So not too terribly much, but I'll probably ramble on about them, so it'll go on and on. It is another very rainy spring day here in Washington State. It has been raining straight for the last 4 or 5 days, and I'm kind of loving it at the moment, actually. It's rained all day. It is a quintessential Twilight Forks day where it has just had showers all day, and it's been nice. It's been really nice today, so I've enjoyed that. But I do hope that we get some warmer and clearer days coming up. So I guess we will just go ahead and head right on in to the finished objects. Like I said, I have 2 finished objects to share. So the first one is not that exciting. It's just a pair of socks, but I did finish the rib socks for Bryan that I started, I think just before the last podcast. So these are what we have. Oh, there we go. I just did a really simple knit 3 purl 1 rib on these. Oh, there we go. Okay, and I really like how these turn out. Bryan is really happy that I am podcasting so that he can have these, because he said there's just something about a fresh pair of socks. So I'm excited that he can have these. He works the next couple nights, but then I'm sure he'll be wearing these. So let's go over some of the information. I just made up the pattern. Like I said, it's knit 3 purl 1. It's a really fun, it makes it really stretchy and really nice, and pair that I made for myself I really enjoy. The ribbing is a 1x1 because I just feel like that looks the best with the rib socks. And I used a US 1 2.25 millimeter Chiaogu magic loop needles. And the yarn was so graciously gifted to me by my friend Anne, and it's Lorna's laces, which I have here that I can show you. Lorena's laces, maybe? Lorna's. No, I'm pretty sure it's Lorna's. But this is what the tag is. See there. And this colorway is called Spats or 1512. I really liked this colorway. She is no longer in business that I can see, but I think there are some on Ravelry that you might be able to get in a D-stash or something like that if you are interested in this pair. I really like how the yarn, it almost did the exact same thing. Isn't that cool? Except for the legs. The legs are a bit different. But it's pretty cool. Pretty close on the feet. But yeah, I really like how it turned out and how it looks really nice. So I like those, and Bryan's excited to get them. So these I used 82.2 grams of yarn, which equals 379.26 yards. So that's pretty good amount of yardage for a pair of socks. And I used a bit more than I normally use, or maybe I'm just not, maybe I wasn't measuring the full skein before, and I was thinking I was getting 75 grams per pair of socks, but it was actually more. I don't know, because this one starting off was 111 grams. So we take 11 away from the 88, and it is about 75. So maybe I have been using that much all along. I don't know. We'll find out from now on. But I just did 50 rounds for the leg, and then I didn't write how many I did for the, oh, yes I did. I did 57 for the foot after the gusset decreases. And I also did a slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset, which is my favorite. So yeah, just some nice little socks. And this is what I have left. Nice little bit of yarn left. So yeah, I have about 22 grams or so left. So yeah, that'll be nice. I'll probably use it for a swap or something like that. But that is my first finished object. You guys, I finished my Whitmore. Isn't it so pretty? I am loving this so, so much. So much. Okay, so you might be wondering, why were you wearing it in the beginning? That's because it's still damp. I finished it late last night, early this morning, and then I immediately put it in the tub and had it blocking overnight, hoping that it would be dry for me to wear it tonight for the podcast, but it's still quite damp, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to wear it the whole time, but I wanted to show you guys what it looks like. Oh, I love it so much. This pattern was so fun to make. You can see it goes all the way around the back. Oh, it's just gorgeous, isn't it? I love it. You can see it comes down. I did it a little longer than it's supposed to. Oh my goodness. Okay. I love it so much. It is a beautiful pattern, and I'm going to tell you all about it, but I'm going to take it off because it's wet and damp, and it's going to make me cold. So I'll be back in just 1 second. Okay, there we go. This is better. Let me lock it. There we go. Yes, it was so damp. Oh my gosh. But it is beautiful. So let me tell you a little bit of details about this pattern. It is the Whitmore cardigan, which is Whitmoor. And it is so beautiful. It is an amazing pattern. This is by Amy Loden, and again, I will have everything linked down below for you guys, so don't worry about writing any of this down. It's all down there. And I'm in love. Absolutely stunning. Let me show you the lace up close. I just love it. It was super simple to do also. But yeah, it's great. Okay, let's go over some more details. So I started this on the 2nd and finished today, basically this morning. So that was just 18 days of knitting. I altered it a couple of ways. So I didn't do the long sleeves. That's all I've ever seen on this is long sleeves. But since we're going into summer and I want to wear it, and I want to wear it a little more, and I don't really have any short sleeve tops that I've made myself other than the rocket tee, I wanted to do short sleeves, and I may actually make a long sleeve version of this for myself as well in a different color because I love it that much. Yeah, so that's cool. So I shortened the sleeves. There's information on my Ravelry page exactly how I did that and what I did for my sleeves. I think I could have actually not decreased as much as I did on the sleeves, but it's not a problem. If I were to do it again, I probably would not decrease maybe 4 stitches or something like that, just to give it a little bit looser. And I did tubular bind offs on all of mine. Oof, let's see. You can see there. I actually didn't even look at the pattern to see what kind of instructions it gave for the bind off. I just knew I was going to do the tubular, so that's what I went with. And yeah, the yarn that I used is the Berroco Vintage DK, and I have a tag right here. So this is the yarn I use, very affordable yarn, and I did the color. It is color 2183, excuse me, and that is Lilac. I love this yarn. It is a 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. So I'm really interested to see how this wears, if it's going to peel a lot or just how it's going to wear in general. So I will keep you updated and let you know what I think. I'm planning to wear this tomorrow out to meet a knitting friend as long as it is dry, which I think it will be by then. It's dried a lot in the last little bit. But yeah, I just love it so much. So I made the size large, just in case you wanted to know. I found out that there's also a cardigan, that's the Whitmore cardigan. I really want to make that now too because, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I don't know, there's just something about the lace that I just love. I think it looks so elegant and so complicated and sophisticated, but it's really not that hard to do. and it's just really fun. I love doing lace. It's a lot of fun. I still have one end that I forgot to snip, so I will be doing that after the podcast. And I used a lot less yarn than I thought I was going to use. The pattern called for, I think it was like 5 balls of yarn, or 5 balls of yarn. I think 5 to 6. And I was like kind of worried that I wasn't going to have enough yarn. But I only used 3 whole skeins. That's all I used. This is just over a gram, and it is what I had left when I finished my second sleeve. So I have that, and I also have, where did it go? I just had you. Oh, my swatch. So I could have pulled from my swatch if I needed to without going into the next ball of yarn, but I think a lot of it would have gone into the sleeves, and I think that's where you need those extra 2 balls for. You probably, especially for the one that is ballooned up, it's huge. So I know that you're going to need a lot of yarn for that, but if you are wanting to alter it and do short sleeves like me, keep in mind you're not going to need a whole bunch of yarn because those sleeves take up a whole bunch of it. I also did a little bit longer in the body. I haven't actually measured to see. Let's see if I can find a measuring tape, and we'll see exactly how long I did under the sleeves, because I think it called for 14 inches under the sleeve before the ribbing. And look, I'll probably have done just that. Okay, so I did about 15.5 inches under the sleeve before adding the ribbing, and I did do the 2.5 inches for ribbing that it called for. And yeah, I love the length on it. I tried it on and kept trying it on, putting it on my Barber Cords and trying to see, you know, like where I wanted to do. I would do that with the sleeves to just kind of see how much longer I wanted them. And I really love it. I think that's the back that I'm showing you. Nope, it's the front. I'm going to have to put one of those tags in because there's no short row shaping or anything. So yeah, it looks very much the same on both sides. But I love this so much. The Whitmore sweater is such a great pattern. I highly, highly recommend it. Amy did an amazing job writing it. It's very clearly written. There's charts written and charts charted for everything, and it's really, really, really great. Let me tell you how much yarn I use. I don't think I wrote that down, so let me pull that up real fast on my computer. I thought I had everything ready, but apparently I don't. Let's see. Shouldn't be hard to find here. If my internet will work. My internet has been horrendous the last few days. Probably has something to do with the rain and all the rain, but it's been awful. So I used exactly 300 grams, and I had 870 yards. I don't think that's very much for a sweater like this. So yeah, I love it. Can you tell that I'm just like over the moon about it? It's so pretty. I love it so much. Let me hang it up here so that it won't get all crumpled and be weird. I did have one already wound up, and then I have another one in the skein. So I think I'm going to keep a hold of these. I might make a baby cardigan or something like that out of it in the future, or a baby item, or I might find something I want to make that only requires 2 of these, or I can just get a 3rd ball if I need it because it's super affordable. But so far I really liked this yarn, and I'll see how that wears and we'll go from there. Just keep it in mind. Let's see. I'm throwing things now. Oh dear. Let's see. Did I have anything else to say? I don't think so. Oh no, I did have something else to say. So this was the first project that I used my Lantern Moon interchangeable needles with all the way through. And this was kind of like my test to see if I liked them or what I didn't like about them. And I love them. They are really great. So I'm normally a Chiaogu girl. I loved the metal needles. I was like, I don't want any wooden ones or anything like that. So I decided to try these. I bought them off Amazon because if I really hated them, I could return them to Amazon. They did accept returns, so I was like, I'll just try them with this project and see if I like them. I love them so much. Um, so they worked amazing. I loved being able to change the cords, change the tips. Yeah, I'm an interchangeable. I've been converted to interchangeable needles for sure. Um, so yeah, things I really like about them. It was different getting used to the wood needles opposed to the metal needles that I have been knitting with for the last 3 years. So that was a little bit of a change in the beginning, and it also had hurt my thumb, so I had that, and it was, that first week was a little bit of a struggle. But otherwise, the cords are really great. They are just like ChiaoGoo cords, the red lace ones. So they're super flexible. Great for magic loop, which I did with the sleeves on this. And yeah, I really love them. I'll have them linked down below in case you want to check them out, because it's a really great little set that I got. I got the half set, which is this one. This little half set. I think it's called the Legacy set. If not, I'll put it on the screen. But it has like needles in there and all your little different things. It's got cords up here. I will say, spoiler alert for acquisitions. I bought some fixed cords instead of the circular. I guess they're circular cords, or the ones that move. I have the little. I guess I could just show you. They're right here. These ones. They this part moves, or is this not one of them? I don't know. Anyways, it moves. And I found that I really didn't like the ones that moved. I liked the fixed cords a little bit better. The swivel. They don't swivel. There we go. So I actually liked the ones that don't swivel as much. I think on this project, going round and round on the body and such, it didn't bother me. But when I was doing a small circumference, like on the sleeve, then it was kind of annoying because I couldn't keep the cord exactly where I wanted it. It kept swiveling, which is what it's meant to do. But I think I'm going to prefer those fixed, not the swivel ones. So the ones that just stay right where you put them. And the other thing that I will say is not quite as good as ChiaoGoo needles is the connection between the actual the silver part. I'll just bring it out again. This part and the actual cord, there's a little bit of it's not as seamless as the ChiaoGoo needles. So you kind of have to get your stitch up on it a little bit. It wasn't too bad, but it was something that I noticed, and I never have had that problem with ChiaoGoo. So those were the only things that I would say are negative about them, but there really weren't even negatives. It's just things that ChiaoGoo might do a little bit better, or preference, I suppose. So yeah, there's my little mini review as a little bonus for you for my Lantern Moon interchangeable set. Overall, I really liked them. I like the price point that it's at, and I like that you can buy the extra needles and extra cords pretty easily off Amazon or Etsy. So that's it. And those are the finished objects that I have. Moving right along into works in progress, I only have 2 to share with you, and this first one you will have already seen in the last podcast, and it is my All of the Lights. And I feel as I'm looking at it that I haven't done that much work on it, but I have done a lot, but I haven't. So anyways, this is the All of the Lights cardigan by Joji Locatelli. It is absolutely beautiful. I'll have it on the screen here for you to see all of its glory and how beautiful it is. But this is what I have for mine so far. The cables aren't showing up as beautifully on the screen as I would like them to, but trust me, they are there. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a close-up. You can see there's a lace section, there's some cord, or some cords, oh lord. There are some, what am I trying to say? cables. That's the word. Another C word. Cables. But they have cables everywhere. You can see the beautiful back. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. So last time when I talked to you, I was probably about here. So I've about doubled it, but that's not bad. I was trying to decide if I wanted to extend farther than the armhole suggested in the pattern. I am making the medium large size, and as I'm making it, I'm kind of thinking I really probably should have gone up to the large, or wait, what size am I making? Wait, I should have it written. I'm making the medium large. Maybe I should have gone to the up to the extra large size. But I think it's gonna work overall. I mean, this is gonna block out a lot, and yeah, let me see if I can actually, without losing my stitches, because that would be the worst thing ever to happen in my life. Ooh. You could see it right here on camera. Okay, it's kind of blocky because it's on these needles right now. But yeah, you can see that I went down 7 inches from the cast on, which is a lot farther than it was supposed to go. And yeah, this is going to stretch and be great. Actually, I think this size is going to be perfect. But you can see I have a lot of room under my arm now. I'm just going to go up a couple sizes when I go to knit the arm, and it'll work out great. But yes, I'm loving this so much. I wonder what the back looks like. Let's see. Can you see? Give my back a good stretch. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be so pretty, y'all. I can't believe that I'm making this. It's just so fun. So let me carefully take this off. Okay, so I just love this pattern. It is my dream project, and it is working out so well. I think I really was obsessed with the Whitmore and working on it, and it kind of took over some time that I probably would have worked on this. But my goal is to work on this at least an hour a day or 2 hours at night. That hasn't really been happening recently the last few nights because Bryan was home, and it's just harder to work on it when Bryan's home because we were watching TV or we were out shopping yesterday and things like that. So I want to get back to working on it a little more regularly. Such a hard word to say. But yeah, it's coming along. I mean, I have doubled what I had last time, so that's not bad. And yeah, I think I have to go like, I want to say 14 inches past the underarm. I might be wrong. Right now I probably have maybe 3 inches past the underarm. Anyways, it's really pretty. So let me tell you about the yarn and all of that I am using. So I am using Miss Bab's Yowza yarn, and this is in Apple Season. So you can see, this is Miss Babs and her Yowza. And then I have her little Apple Season there. I have actually gone into the second ball. I have 3 of these. They're really huge, ginormous. How many yards? How many grams? It's 560 yards, so 225 grams. So this is what I have left of the first cake that I have. I am saving these for the arms. My friend Michaela mentioned that, and I was like, that was such a great idea to think of that. Thank you so much. So I have just started the second big cake of this. So that's going well. I am knitting these on my Chiaogus. That's what I started with, and I don't want to switch mid-project with these. So this one is a size 6. You can see here, and they have my cute little Grogu stitch stoppers that my friend Stephanie got for me. Thank you, Stephanie. I love them so much. So these are what I'm using for that. And anything else? I'm enjoying the pattern a lot. It's not nearly as scary as I thought it was going to be. Once you kind of figure out what you're doing, get in the rhythm of it, and can read the charts or read the written instructions, which I do, yeah, it's not that scary, and it's great. So I'm enjoying this. I have messed up a few times and had to not rip back, but like tink back, and that wasn't fun. So once I start getting tired when I'm working on it, I'm like, nope, we're putting it away this row. Doesn't matter how far I got, we're gonna do it. So I'm using Knit Companion, which is a huge advantage. I feel like I have the paid for version, so I can highlight, I can mark on it, do all those things. I will go next row and I'll write which row is the next row that I should be going on. So if I take a couple days off and I come back, I'll know exactly where I am and won't have to like guess and try to figure it out. But yeah, I really like it. It's a really cool pattern, and I'm really excited to see it progress over the next few weeks or however long. I'd like to have this done in about a month. I don't know if that's possible, but we'll see. I think that would be a pretty good goal. And I am housing this in my Cottontail Farm. I was saying it right this time. Cottontail Farm bag, which is one of my favorites. And then I have all of my little notions in my little NeonSol pouch, which I love because I just flip it onto the project and it's always there. It holds everything I need. It has a pair of scissors, stitch markers, a row counter, and normally it has a measuring tape in there as well. All of that will fit, so that's really great. But yeah, that is the first work in progress that I have. And it'll be the work in progress next time too, probably. And then I have one other work in progress that I'm excited to share with you. I finally started it. I started my Moonglow Radvent. So I love the Radvent pattern. It is by Bryan, and it is meant for advents or scraps. I mean, you can make it all in one colors too. I think there is one version of that on the pattern. But I made one of these with my friend Stephanie and several others of you back in July for the Radvent in July, which was so much fun. And I have gotten so much use out of my Radvent. I use it all the time. And I actually have it sitting right here. Yeah, this is it. So this is what it looks like. It is just knit from, you knit from one sleeve all the way up to about right here, and then you come over here and you knit all the way up again, then you join in the middle and you do the cuff around, you do the neck band kind of, what would this be called, button band. I actually didn't put buttons on mine and I don't plan to on my new one either. And then you also have the band at the bottom. So this is what it looks like. I use this so often. It is just perfect to throw on when you are chilly or sitting and watching TV and knitting and you need something just little on you. It's perfect. I love this so much. This yarn is actually the Fangirl Fibers 2021 Disney Advent. And if you also watch Knitty Natty, you may think those colors look familiar because they're the same ones that she is making her Quadrophenia blanket, I believe is what it's called. But these are the exact same colors. So watching her is really fun because I'm like, oh, I know that color. But I love this so much, then I wanted to make another one. And I saw someone in our membership making one with the Moonglow Advent that I had, and I thought it was beautiful. So I decided to copy her and make it myself too. So I started it, and I'm really excited to show you what I have so far. I had 3 sweaters on the needles at once. I had my Whitmore, my All of the Lights, and the Radvent, all 3 at the same time. Those were the only things on my needles. I was like, what the heck is wrong with me? This is not what I do. I am not someone who has 3 sweaters on the needles, but I did, and it didn't kill me, so I think it worked out okay. Let's talk about the yarn. The first is, of course, Moonglow. I love her yarn. It is a beautiful Advent. It was a rainbow Advent. I'm not sure if she's doing it this year. I don't know if she's announced it or not, but I'll have her linked down below for you. It's absolutely stunning. I love her yarn. I'm trying to look for the tag for this one. My main color. I have it here. I'm sure I put it somewhere safe and now I can't remember. But I did put it somewhere safe. I found it. So my main color I have decided to use is Life in the Long Grass. This is a dyer that's in Ireland. I love her yarn. I used it for my twisted t-shirts, and her yarn is just absolutely beautiful. I got the color, oh, there we go, Mountain Pass, if it'll, there we go. So it's a beautiful blue. I'm going to show you now. So this is going to be the main color, which is, it's going to be this color on it. Here. So this is what we have. Isn't that stunning? Maybe if it'll focus on, there we go. It's just a stunning, stunning blue. So pretty. I'm loving this already. And I went ahead and did both of the cuffs so that I wouldn't have to do them again, because once I got through one, I knew I wasn't going to want to have to do the cuff again. I just want to go back into stockinette. So this is my second cuff that I have ready. I'm doing things a little different, as well as what I did with my original one. So first, I'm going up 2 sizes from that one. I wanted it to be not so form-fitting. I wanted it to be a little bit oversized, and I also plan to make it longer in this section right here. So I might, I don't know how many I'm going to cast on, but it's going to be quite a bit more than what it is here. Maybe a third, maybe double. I don't know. I'll see when I get there. But yes, it's definitely going to be bigger than this one. And I'm also decided to shorten my cuff. So with my original one here, the cuff I made extra long. So you can see it is super long, and I have something that's been snagged there, but that's super long. So for this one, I decided I was going to go shorter. Hello, can you please focus? Focus. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Sorry, guys. Okay, there. Yeah. So I made it almost, yeah, half, almost half. So I wanted to try that because I knew after having this Radvent that I didn't need them that long. I just wanted to try something different. So that's what I did. So I have this one already. It's on my Barber Cords, Try It On cords, which I highly recommend. I have that ready to go for my side 2. But my side 1 I have been working on, and this is what I have so far. Like, how cute. So I actually am not really doing the colors in order. I tried, they're semi in order, but they're not perfectly in order. Like the first color that you opened was a red. I didn't want the red to be first because red's not my favorite color. And I actually ended up taking the red out altogether. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So this is what I have so far. I decided to start with the green because I love green. And then we just went up. I think this is actually how it went in the Advent. And I'm actually on my 3rd color, pink, right now, which is this one. It's kind of hard. It's it's hard to tell that it's a difference, but there is a difference between these 3, and I think it'll be more visible once you actually have them all knit. Like here, you can kind of tell that it's a little better. And then we'll have this color getting darker. And I also have my next bit ready to go. I have them in this Ziploc bag. So these are the next ones. I have a picture that I am using that I put all together that I really like that I'll pop in here for you to see. And I went ahead and caked up all of the one side. I guess this would be the right side, I think. Since I had my Swift out and was watching a podcast, so I figured I'll just go ahead and Swift them all up so that they are ready. This is what I have left of the ones that I have already used. So these are ready to go next. They are all the ones for the same side. And then I also have all of these, which are going to be the other side. Let me show you. Not to be too crinkly. It's a lot of blues and purples and greens. And then this is what came with the Advent, in case you're interested. That is I tried to do them in this order as best as I could, but a lot of them look the same, and it was hard to pick, so I just kind of did the best I could and moved anything around that I wanted to. I do have these 2 I don't think that this one is hers, but it was in there with it. Maybe this is one that my sister sent me. I don't know. I don't think that this one is hers. No, it feels completely different. This isn't hers, but this was in the bag with them. So I took that one out, which is good because it doesn't go with the others. But I also took this one out because I didn't want the red. It's just not really, I'm not a red person. So I figured I'll keep it out. I have it sitting right here in case I do end up needing it. And then it would probably be on the back, so I wouldn't see it that often. So that works for me. So I'm glad we figured out that's not. I wonder what that is. Sabra, did you give this to me? Let me know. Tell me, did you give me that one? Because I don't know where it came from or why it was in my bag with all my other ones. I don't know. But, yes, this is the one that I'm not using. I'll see if I need it or not. We'll just go through. And I might actually pick a different one altogether or shorten it. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But I'm really happy with the progress so far. I was trying to do one stripe a day, and then my Whitmore was getting closer and closer to being done, and I kind of abandoned everything else and went with the Whitmore. So yeah, that's just how it is. But this is going to be so pretty. I'm really excited to see it grow and see the colors change on it. I didn't gauge swatch with this. So I was going to gauge swatch, and then I was like, you know what? I made the other one. It'll be fine. I have size 6 and size 4 Chiaogu like 9-inch interchangeables on the blue cord. And I wanted to make these with using that in the very beginning because it's a small circumference. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do magic loop. So I did that. And then I realized I hate those tiny needles. Like the little 2 to 3 inch needles. I don't like those at all. And I was really craving using my Lantern Moon. So I think I was probably about here, and I decided to switch out my needles. I was like, I don't care. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. This is just something that I'm going to wear around the house, and it's for me. It's not to be fancy or anything like that. So I switched the needles, and I put it on look, I was going to say Chiaogu, on my Lantern Moon needles. These are Stitch Stoppers by Fox and Pine. Hold on. Yeah, I didn't write it down. Fox and Pine. Pine and Fox. I think it's Fox and Pine. They're linked down below. But I love them. I use them on everything. But you can see these are the needles. So I was really excited to be able to use these on something else. The rain just started coming down. So I'm sorry if you can hear that. And I'm using, actually I think these are some of the swivel cords that I was talking about. And yeah, I'm to the point where I can just knit round and round on them. I was doing Magic Loop before that, but I'm really loving these needles. And I was like, you know what? I'm really enjoying it, so I'm just going to go and use it. So that's what I'm doing. And I do have the stitch marker that I was using on it. This is one from Simply Serving quite a while ago, but it felt like the right one to use in this area with all the beauty of the trees of Washington around me. So I'm going to go ahead and put a marker in here so we can see how far I go until next podcast, which I wouldn't be surprised if this is possibly finished by then. It depends on how good of a girl I am. We'll see if I don't cast on anything else. Oh, and I want to put one on my All of the Lights too, so we can see the progress made. So I have one sitting out here somewhere. There we go. I'm going to use another one, Simply Serving. This is my little possum. Oh, hold on. There we go. That my sister Sabra gave me. So I'm going to pop that on here so that we can know exactly how much progress I make. All right. That, I think, is all that I have to say. Let me make sure. Oh, one other thing I did want to say. Actually, there's two other things I want to say about the Radvent. I am using I totally was going to say this, and then I went on a rabbit trail, I think. Anyways, I didn't swatch. let's go back to that. I didn't swatch and decided I'm just going to go with it. And I felt like with the like 9-inch, I was being really sloppy with my knitting. And when I changed to my 5, I think these are 4 or 5-inch, it didn't really change that much, but I felt like it wasn't as sloppy, if that makes any sense. So I'm using a US 6, which is what the pattern calls for, and I feel like that's really loose for fingering weight, right? So I'm hoping it's going to block out and not look sloppy, because I feel like it kind of looks a little sloppy right now. I mean, it doesn't really on camera, as I pet my yarn. But yeah, I'm a little concerned about that, but not enough to stop or rip back. So yeah, that's that. I used US 4s for this, and then US 6s for these, and yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. So I don't know. We'll see. Another thing is I am keeping very detailed information about how much yarn I'm using per stripe. And I'm going to have all of that on my Ravelry page when I am done with the project. So you'll be able to know if you want to make this in the size that I'm making or not. The size I am making is the size 54, which is 2 sizes bigger than my original one, because I want it a little bigger. I just wanted it bigger. And I also changed the ribbing. It's supposed to be twisted, 1 by 1 twisted, but I just did 1 by 1. I did the twisted on my original, and there we go. And I think I actually prefer the 1 by 1. So I did not want to do the twisted at all. Didn't want to do it. So I changed that, and I also, another thing I changed is I cast on 4 stitches less on the rib than what is called for, because I just wanted it to hug my wrists a little more. And then this first stockinette row, I just added 4 stitches when I was doing that. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about it. That was a lot of talking. A little bit of news. I wanted to thank you guys so much for all of your sweet comments and suggestions and just overall encouragement about my wanting to change my name due to the gypsy part of it. I really appreciate everyone just commenting, and there were so many of you who were like, just be you and don't change it, and things like that, and I really appreciate that. I have decided to go ahead and change the name. I just don't want any negativity towards it at all. I want it to be something that just doesn't have anything bad towards it, you know. And I of course didn't and don't intend any bad will with the word gypsy. I think just from my life and my lifestyle, it's not a word that I have considered to be a slur or anything like that. So I know that in other parts of the world and other people it may, so I just don't want to put that out there and offend anybody inadvertently. So I have picked a name, I think. I'm like 90% sure on it, and I will share it with you. But please don't steal it, because I have checked everywhere and it hasn't been taken yet. So I am planning to change everything May 1st. So I still have a couple weeks to 100% verify that that's the one that I want. And then I'll change everything on, you know, here on YouTube, on Ravelry, on Instagram, all of those things. And it won't take anything away. I'll just change the name and you'll see, hey, it's new, you know. So the name that I am 90% sure on is the Wandering Purl. I think that works really well. We wander around, and I have checked, and there is nowhere that I know of that is offensive to anyone. So I am hoping, God willing, that will work. Purl, I'm going to spell it like knit purl, so P-U-R-L. I think that kind of works really well. It's a little different than what I currently am, but let me know what you think of that, because I can, of course, still change my mind on it. I haven't done it yet, but I think I'm going to be the Wandering Purl from now on. Yeah, a little rebrand and never hurt anybody. So, yeah, that's what it's going to probably be. I will officially announce May 1st. So this will be the last podcast as the Gypsy Bird makes. But it's a little bittersweet, but I think overall it's the best thing to do, and I'm just gonna go for it. So again, thank you guys for all your support and for helping guide me through this process. All right, so we're gonna kind of combine several different things together because they kind of all go together. So I'm just going to do it all in one segment, and it'll just hopefully flow better. So I asked if there were any questions. I got one question from my friend Allison that I will answer. And then I have some acquisitions that I want to show, but that kind of goes with Allison's question. So I'm going to do that. And then what was the other thing I was going to do? Acquisitions, questions. Oh, and future makes, because that also goes with Allison's question. So I'm going to just kind of roll those all into one. Yeah, and we'll go from there. So my friend Allison's question was basically, do I have any summer knits that I'm thinking of making? And if so, what is it? So I do have something that I just purchased that I want to make a summer make out of. That was a lot of words. But I was at our local yarn store here in town, and I've seen this yarn multiple times. I think I've talked about it, how I wanted to make something out of it because it's just gorgeous. So I couldn't resist anymore, and I bought it. This yarn is, let me see, 85% cotton and 15% alpaca. So it is super, super soft, and I think it's just going to be the perfect thing to make a summer garment out of. So Allison, I will be using this yarn to make a summer garment. This is the yarn that I picked up. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. Illimani? Illimani? I'm not sure. I'll have them linked down below. But this is what I got. I have 4 skeins of it. So look at me buying like a whole sweater's quantity and having hopefully enough. There's 437 yards per skein, so I'm pretty sure I have enough for something. But it is this really pretty, kind of like creamy brown color. Very natural color. I really love it. It is a fingering weight, and the color is color 84 in case you were looking for it yourself. So I purchased this. I also, in the same purchase, I got some more cable needles because I'm going to lose the one that I'm using on my All of the Lights, and then I'm going to be up a creek. So I just went ahead and knew my ability to lose things and purchased those. So these, I don't know what I'm going to make with it yet. I want to do something lacy. I did actually consider making another Whitmore with it because I loved it so much. But the Whitmore is a DK pattern, and this is fingering weight. So I thought I could, work it and get it to work. But I just want to make something that I don't have to use a lot of brain power for. So I do have a couple of ideas. One is called the Nicole Tank, and that is by Kate Oates. That looks beautiful, and I think that this might really look really pretty as that tank. So that is one that I am possibly thinking of doing. And the other is the Lotus, and it is by, I'm going to probably butcher this name, but Sarah Blue Designs, maybe? I will have the pattern linked down below for you. But she also has, that is also a beautiful garment that I am considering. So those are 2 kind of possibilities, Allison, that I might make with this yarn, and would definitely be a summer make. So yes, I do plan to make something summery, and that is what it is. I might also make another pair of twisted t-shirts that just came to mind. I don't know. We'll see. I really want to try to get through my Radvent and my All of the Lights before I jump onto anything else, but I don't know, something might kick in and I might automatically want to put this on the needles. So I don't know. We'll see. I've resisted buying it for a couple months, so maybe I can resist casting it on for a couple months. But yeah. So that was one of the things that I purchased, my acquisitions. And that hopefully answers your question, Allison. It's a yes, but I don't know too much about it. Haven't picked out a project yet. Let me know if you guys have summer projects that you're making. Do you have cotton yarn or linen yarn that you're using? Let us know down below and like put your favorites. Yeah, so we can all go on Ravelry and favorite a bunch of things and have even more to make. And then I also got a couple other things, so I'm going to go ahead and go through those real fast. I was up in Seattle again this past week, and I picked up another one of the, which way are you going? This way. This Woolfolk yarn. I had gotten this when I went to the store, Acorn Street shop or store or something like that. And realized when I got home it was only 50 grams. And I was like, well, that's going to be hard to make anything with 50 grams. So I picked up another skein. So I have 100 grams. And hopefully I can make a cowl with this because it's really, really soft. So I just picked that up so I could have 2 of those. I did order some more stitch stoppers from, where is it at? Fox and Pine. Fox and Pine's the name. So I got these cute little Mickeys. Aren't they so cute? So it's a stitch stopper, and then I actually got these that I'll probably end up using for giveaways. I thought they were cute, and everybody would probably like those. So I just got those to have on hand in case I have a giveaway or need to send out something. I'll have a little something extra to stick in. And one other thing I got, which I kind of already mentioned, is I ordered some more Lantern Moon swivel, well actually they're fixed cords. So I got a 32-inch fixed cord, and this one came with 2 of those, which is really nice. And then I also got a 40-inch fixed. There we go. So I'm really excited to have those. They should be pretty good for right now. I shouldn't need any more of these. But then I also went ahead and got the size 4 tips since the set that I have didn't come with the 4s. So I have those now, and I'm going to put them in with all the others, and we'll have that full 3 to 8 range set now. And the shop that I got these from is called Handsome Fibers on Etsy, and I will have them linked down below. They're out of Oregon, I believe, and they shipped really, really fast, which I always appreciate when things like this ship fast. So I was really grateful to be able to get those. And then, since we're kind of combining everything, the future makes. So I do want to have something like this made with this. I don't want this to sit in my stash for long. I want to be able to make something and use it for the summer here. And then the Bubble Cardigan is also on my mind from Stephen West. I haven't really done anything since the last time I talked about it, but it's still hovering in my mind that I want to make it. And one other thing is the cozy knit along. So Natty is having a cozy knit along or make along, I think, that is starting May 1st. So head over to her Instagram and it'll have all the information when she comes. I don't think she's actually like put out too much information on it. But I would assume it is just making one of her cozies, or probably any cozy for your yarn, for your drinks, for bottles. She has several different cozies patterns, and I have made several of them. Let me see. This is one that I have made. This is a yarn cozy. This is her yarn cozy light knit in the 100 gram size. And I love these so much. So I'm going to be participating in that for sure. I love making these. They're super fun and fast, and I use them all the time. So you might want to head over to her Instagram and check them out, or keep an eye out there for more information. But that does start May 1st. And I think she might actually be releasing some crochet mini yarn cozies that day. Or somewhere soon around there. So check that out. That's something I'll be participating in. Yeah, and that's all. I'm trying not to do anything else until these other projects are finished. So for life has been good. We've had a good couple of weeks since the last time I spoke with you. We've done a few things. We've eaten good food, done all those things, type of things. My thumb is healing a lot. I will show you. You can see there, I did cut the tip of my thumb off just before the last podcast, but it is healing so well. I'm so grateful. Still don't have complete feeling there, and then the feeling comes back and it feels really weird, but it's healing. It'll be fine. There's not really a big dip in my thumb anymore. There was like a legit dip, but I have regenerated like the doctor, and I'm doing just fine with that. So thank you all for your sweet comments on that. I actually haven't worn a band-aid on it in probably a week. So that's been great for knitting because it was so annoying with that band-aid. It kept getting caught on the yarn. It was frustrating. We went to see the new Mario movie with the kids, which was really fun. It was a really cute movie, and my kids really enjoyed it. I took my Whitmore and knit on it during the movie. I've never done that before. Never gone to the movies and knit, but it was really great, and I will be doing that again in the future. I just knit stockinette round and round. The movie was bright enough that if I needed to look, I could see like my stitch and stuff, so it wasn't bad. And yeah, that was really fun. I got probably about 10 rounds done during the movie, which I think is pretty good. So I was happy with that. We went to this little beach just over in Tacoma. It was called Owen Beach, and it was down by Defiance Park. It was so pretty there. It was so cold though, because I wasn't expecting to like get out and walk on like a beach for that long. And I was pretty cold, and I had a jacket this time. I didn't steal Bryan's, but it was so pretty. And we actually saw sea lions, which I was not expecting at all. Apparently they're there a lot, and it was really cool to be able to see them, and we could hear them like breathing and like throwing, you know, like the water out of their nose. So that was really fun. The kids kept finding sea glass, which was a big hit, and they really enjoyed that. We came back with a grocery bag of stuff again. You know, kids always grab things. So that was really pretty, and I want to go back there when it's a little warmer and explore a little bit farther, because I think if you keep going a little farther than where we are, you'd be able to see the town right where we live, which would be really fun. Then, let's see, I got to meet up with my friend Susie. She is in the Love and Stitches membership, and it was so fun. She lives probably like less than 10 minutes from where we live. So we met up at the local yarn store, and that's when I bought this yarn. And then we went and got some coffee, and that was just so fun to be able to sit and knit and chat with her. It was definitely a blessing and so sweet. Thank you, Susie, for reaching out. Sorry, I got interrupted by one of the children, but it was really nice to meet up with Susie. And then a couple of days later, I got to go and meet up with Helen Jo, who is another member of the Love and Stitches. And I have known Helen Jo for quite a while. We've done a swap together, and yeah, it was so nice. I went up to Seattle. I took the ferry all by myself, which I felt like was very grown up. I am 36 years old, but it still sometimes don't feel like I'm a grown-up. So I got to go out there by myself. I drove around Seattle. I got some lunch. I met her at the Acorn Street yarn shop. And then we went over and just chatted, and her husband I got to meet, who was hilarious. And they were just so sweet and such a great couple. It really touched me. She prayed with me before I left, and I just felt like that was so sweet. And I really enjoyed getting to meet her. And then I caught the ferry back and came back home. Yeah, so that was really fun. I had 2 yarny meetups in 1 week. The not so fun thing though was 2 days later, that exact same ferry that I was on lost steering and ran aground. Like, what the heck? I am so grateful that happened after I was on the ferry and not before, because that would have freaked me out so much, and I would have driven to Seattle and missed out on all my yarn knitting time. So I did take the Whitmore on the ferry with me, which was fun. But yeah, that was wild that I did that. Like, I'm so sorry, Seattle, that we are here and we cause these type of things, because we just cause weird things to happen everywhere we go. There's always something. So yeah, that was wild. I was a little freaked out. When I was on the ferry, it was rattling. And I was like, this is different than the other ferry went on, because it was the actual, like, a different one. Like, it's the same route, but they have two different ferries, I think, that do it. And we had been on the other one before, and I think it's the Wawa was what it was. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, that one was rattling, and I was like, well, that's weird. And you could tell it was definitely older than the first one we had been on. Yeah, and then I heard that 2 days later, and I was like, I would not have been, I would have been a little freaked out, but it would have been okay. God protected me from that, and I am so grateful. Let's see. Okay, so we are getting passports, or we are attempting to get passports. I have gone through and filled out applications for all 5 of us and getting all the documents and things together. And then yesterday we went and got our passport photos taken, which was an experience. I probably will share the picture here with you of the photos. But yeah, it was fun. We have those, and we're hoping next week to go and get the actual passports apply for them. All of the appointments are booked at the post office, so we're going to be going to a county clerk, and first come first serve, and hoping to get those, so we will see. Yeah, I should have done this months ago, but I had asked Bryan to like look into it and tell me what needed to happen and like kind of help me with it, and that never happened. So yeah, I just did it myself. So yeah, I would have liked to have had this done in December. That's when I asked him to help me with it, and it just did not happen. So here we are, almost to May, and I'm still I'm doing it all on my own. But anyways, we went and got the photos done, which he didn't want to do yesterday, but I was like, we're going to go do it, and it'll be fine. So we did it. It's done with. It was ridiculous. We paid $70 a picture. There's 5 of us. It's ridiculous. Anyways, hopefully we will have those, and we won't have to worry about them for us for 10 years and the kids for 5, and the kids in about 5 years will be on their own, so they can worry about it. Yeah, that won't happen. We'll still be worrying about it. But then, oh yes, we moved spots. So we have moved spots since the last time we podcasted. So I have a new background for you guys. You'll have this one for maybe 2 or 3 podcasts, and then we move again. So enjoy. But yeah, we moved. Literally, we were in. I'm not gonna tell you the spot numbers, but we were like 6 spots away, I think. We literally just drove down the hill and backed up. And yeah, it went really smoothly, really well. We had everything like moved and unpacked within like 6 hours, and then I was exhausted. I felt like I had been run over by a truck, because I guess I did way too much then. I wasn't just sitting and knitting, I was actually doing things. But yeah, we like this spot a whole lot. It's really nice. The internet has been really awful in this spot, which doesn't make sense because I can literally see our other spot, but we're making it work. It's frustrating. We have Starlink for RVs, but it needs like a clear view of the sky for that, and there are a lot of big trees around here, so it interrupts the service a lot. The internet here at the campground's actually really good for a campground, and we use that a lot. But the last couple days, I don't know if it's the rain or what it's just been awful. Like, awful. Like, I tried to send my friend a text earlier with a picture in it, and it wouldn't send because of the picture. That's how bad it was. Yeah, it's crazy, but it's okay. First world problems. We will be okay. Let's see, anything else? Nope, I think that's everything. Oh, no, I was going to talk about what we've been watching. So what we've watched recently, I really honestly can't think of a lot of what I've watched, which I don't know what that means. I think I've just been watching like my normal shows, like that come on every week. So not binge watching a whole bunch. We did finish Picard, the series finale of that last night. We stayed up and watched it late, so I wouldn't get any spoilers. So that was really good. I really was happy with that, and also happy with what they are hinting at. So we also watched The Mandalorian season finale last night. I thought it was really good because I thought some things were going to happen that didn't happen, so I'm very, very grateful for that. I think a lot of people might be disappointed in the finale, but I was happy with it. Works for me. And we also, me and my husband last night, we binged Emergency New York City, or NYC, on Netflix. That was really good and really interesting. He's a medical professional, so he likes the things that are real and not like Grey's Anatomy, where they're giving the completely wrong medication or all this different things. So he, I think, enjoyed that. I was enjoying it because I was kind of getting to see the medical side of things. I think we watched 5 episodes last night. And then so I think we have like 3 more to watch. So next time he's off, we'll do that. But yeah, that's basically what we've been watching and doing. I have caught up on some podcasts, or I'm trying to catch up on some podcasts. But yeah, it's been a good couple weeks, and we keep hoping to do more out and about. But it'll either be raining, or we'll be like tired, or something will happen. So it's gonna happen. Just gonna have patience and deal with it when it comes. So I think that's everything. Thank you guys for watching another episode. It is the last one as Gypsy Bird makes. So thank you guys for all your love and support, and let me know down below if you like the Wandering Purl for my new name. I'd love to know what you guys think. So if you've lasted this long, thank you, and let me know what you think. And I think there might be a giveaway on the next podcast for a kind of rebranding, exciting new thing. So definitely come back and watch that. Oh, and I wanted to say, if you are watching and you're not subscribed, I would love if you would subscribe. I am 100 away from 1,000 subscribers, and that's a huge goal for me, is to get to 1,000. So I'm really, really wanting to get there. So if you're not subscribed and you just watch all the time, if you would subscribe, that would mean so much to me, and I would really appreciate it. So I hope you guys have a great rest of April, and I will see you in May. Oh, excuse me. I just did a whole thing and it wasn't recording. Yeah, it was really fun to meet up with Susie and to, I think that was really loud, so we'll try that again. To ease all the pain inside.